I alluded to this in a previous video, if you got a chance to see it. I was just talking about the veil. But specifically, I want to talk about a couple of different things. This is very much a supernatural video. So the veil being an important topic as long as portals. Those would be kind of two of the overhauling things that I want to at least touch on as far as subject matter is concerned, just supernatural things. It was a regular day, and I can't quite pinpoint exactly why that day was special. As far as it was someone close to me that I think it was a reason why I was traveling across town. I used to live at the edge of Jackson, Mississippi, and Clinton, Mississippi on the Highway 80 area. And yeah, I used to smoke a lot of weed, but I don't necessarily do that anymore just because of elevation in life. But this day, I decided to smoke weed. I'm not gonna bring any names into this. A close friend of mine was a witness. He was there during the entire event. You know who you are. All right, so he and I would always engage in very thought-provoking conversations. When we did smoke weed, we didn't just, we did for recreation, don't get me wrong, but we definitely challenged each other's train of thought and just, go down that rabbit hole with each other on different topics. This day is like no other. So, in chronological order, this is how the events, as far as I can remember, and as detailed as I can remember, it transpired. I had drove to his house and ended up smoking in his backyard with him. And as we were sitting there smoking, just having a good old time, it was a nice summer afternoon. Now, I've been studying tornadoes personally since the age of 3. I'm a big nerd. Fell in love with tornadoes before I fell in love with women. So I've been studying tornadoes heavily since the age of 3. So I'm saying that because when I see vortexes or anything that spins in nature, I whirlpools, fire whirls, dust devils, you name it. If it's rotating, I have a clue about it. So anyway, we were smoking, clear sunny day, and he and I both looked up, just looking at the clouds while we talking. And I looked up and I was like, there's few clouds, I thought was a few clouds just passing by. And I was like, yo, are those clouds spinning? And, thinking nothing of it. I wasn't really consciously aware at the time. So I look up. At this point, we were actually staring at this rotation. I can't remember if it was counterclockwise or clockwise. We look up at the clouds, like, yeah, the clouds are spinning. So we look up and there's this one circular motion spinning in the clouds. It's horizontal, well, it's flat looking. What we're looking up at is spinning, flat like this. And then another one spins open in the opposite direction next to it. And then a third, I guess you would call it a portal, spins the same pattern as the first one. It's like 3 separate holes that open up in the sky above us. I don't know. I'm just thinking, I'm thinking it's lofty clouds. Maybe it's the wind upstairs. I'm not thinking much of it. I'm only speaking from this had already happened to me, and I've been aware of what was going on. So, think nothing of it. We smoked. We decided, hey, we don't want to be this close in the neighborhood, and we don't want to be around these people smoking. So we, packed the weed up. We drive to my house. We smoking there. So at my house is where we have these real strong, thought-provoking conversations. So we having the conversations, and he's always pushing me to that limit, like he's like trying to checkmate me in my thought pattern as far as like, hey, yeah, if this is happening, yeah, this is happening. At that time, I think we were just talking about, I'm just gonna say the black man struggle. And it had led me to an emotional state because I saw that from our historical perspective up until the point of now and where we're going in the future, that it was really, in my mind at the time, there was no hope for us to come up out of this situation without some altercation. So it brought me to emotions because I was like, I'm actually a part of something that's not going to turn out well. So when I was brought to that emotion, I began crying a little bit. And you know, when you cry, you know, your eyes tear up, you get a little blurry. So I thought my eyes were, you know, just getting teared up and crying in front of my friend. I'm like, man, I'm soft right now. What's going on with me? You know, I'm not thinking nothing of it. So I go wipe my eyes. And when I wipe my eyes, I get like cloudy eyes, thinking I'm just seeing kind of like whiteness in my eyes and my vision. But my eyes dry up and that whiteness, that cloudiness was still there. And I was like, I can't get rid of it. I don't necessarily know what's going on, yo. So, but, you know, it was like we're done smoking at this point. I'm just taking them home. I'm still got this cloudy white vision. We get outside, things start to sparkle. And it was like a cloudy white, like sparkly, but it's like rainbow sparkles is like everywhere. Like everything started to look like it was in high definition, but it was like a cloudy white vision. Like, you know, it was like somebody was like, I was in fog or something like that, but not that thick. It was just enough to see everything, but it was sparkly, everything, like nature. The grass was sparkling, the trees, the wildlife, everything, the roads, buildings. I'm driving, and it's a road behind the Clinton Walmart. If it's still there, it's a shortcut that goes from one side of Clinton to the other side without having to go through the lights. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So we get to the back road, and I begin to get this overwhelming feeling of like emotions like I've never have felt before. And it's more like I ain't gonna say a sad emotion, but it did bring me to tears. But then I just begin, like my body just began to convulse and vibrate at a rate that I've never experienced before. It actually got me scared. My heart rate is racing now, and then it goes from just me vibrating and I'm shaking and I'm driving, slowing down because it's not really traffic there. So now I'm slowing down, and I'm finally, you know, coming to a halt on the road a little bit, and it goes from me just vibrating and just feel like somebody just set my body on fire. So I'll go from just, you know, just start shaking, trying to figure out what's going on, to now I feel like someone set me on fire with gasoline. I'm like, yo, what's going on? I'm thinking it happening to both of us. I'm looking at him while this happened to me. He's looking at me like, are you okay? Like, it's not happening to you right now? Yeah, man, just look at me concerned for real. Immediately, as I'm feeling this burning sensation, like of my entire body, it goes to like what I can only describe as like a cool flame. And in that moment, like it's like a feminine spirit had took me over, and I experienced an exacerbating amount of joy and happiness. So I went from like a sad crying and a worry and I'm on fire to a cool and joyful feeling. It was the best feeling to this day that I can ever describe of me experiencing. There's no other feeling that has even come close to second as that feeling I felt immediately when I felt the cool flame. Like I was dancing and carrying on, waving my hands in the air. It's like, woo! It's just like vision has changed. But along with my vision, my voice also began to change. I can only describe this as a waterfall and like a lion roaring at the same time. But it's coming out of my voice, and it's all happening simultaneously. Like my voice is changing, my vision has changed. I'm still experiencing like this high definition earth that I'm experiencing. And then I began to see things on me that did not make sense. I looked down in my shirt and I can only see what I just described at the time like a giant magnet, like in the middle of my chest, just began to spin slowly and like crank on, and then I just knew I was like that. My heart spinning, like I didn't know how else to describe it. Like it looked like my heart was spinning, and immediately when I looked at it, like this blue streaks of lightning came from one point, like right here in my chest, and it began to spider out, and it arced over to my friend and hit him in the chest. And he actually had a reaction to it, and when he reacted to it, like he actually got shocked by something. I said, "Are you okay?" But at that point in time, he was like, "What are you talking about?" I think I just got heartburn or something like that. He couldn't see it. And aside, like at that point in time, apparently I was having, my spiritual experience. He wasn't necessarily ready to have his, but today he has his own spiritual experiences. And he actually, maybe a year or two later, he's like, "Yeah, I understand, I get it, what's going on." So, but we were younger, so, we experiencing things at a young age. So yeah, it's like a streak of lightning, blue lightning arcs over to him. I see it shock him. He convulses like he's getting shocked, but he doesn't necessarily see it. So at that point in time, I realized that whatever is happening to me only, and I'm only having this experience. And it was a lonely feeling, but it was, like I said, it was a joyful feeling at the same time. I never had this, overwhelming feeling. So I'm thinking that, he's accepting my voice is changing. He's being really extremely cool about the situation. I'm driving off at this point. We're driving mad slow, probably like 5 to 10 miles per hour. I'm like, all right, whatever's happened to my voice, whatever my vision's going through, I'll be just fine. As I'm driving, I'm starting to have like quick, immediate revelations of like, I'm super strong now. I feel like I can break my phone with 2 fingers. And then another layer of vision began to overlap. And this is where I began to see like light, like within itself, just like interconnecting with everything that I was experiencing, from people, plants, trees, buildings, rocks. Like everything had a layer of light to it, some brighter than others. But it was definitely something that I didn't understand at the time. But all I could do was just drive forward, make sure we get to our destination safely. And then maybe I can figure out, how long is this going to last? And et cetera. Is this something that's going to be continuous, or is it going to be something that's spontaneously on and off? I just didn't know at the time. So we get to his house. I'm still experiencing this, and I drop him off. And I actually was about to record a video similar to what I'm doing right now. But, at that time I know now it's my spirit that, activated or whatever. The force of the whispers of what was guiding me immediately shut my camera down at one word. It said no. And when it said no, like I instantly just froze. Like my entire being froze. My car stopped moving. My camera shut off. And when it said no, then I had I don't know if it was a premonition or a flashback or a memory or a feeling. It just like my DNA, like all of my ancestors' frustration, grievances, and just the pain that they dealt with began to like surface up to me in like a rage. As I was about to just act on this rage, I was turning out of his neighborhood. I started to act like I was just gonna throw, I guess you would call lightning out of my hands. And I can see the blue electricity go from out my chest and into my arms. And as I'm about to expel it out into the air, into the atmosphere, this whisper in my head says not yet, and it stops like right there at the edge of my fingertips. And I knew then, like, whatever this is preparing me for something that's not going to happen, today. But I was overwhelmed at what I was experiencing, and I thought that I was going crazy. I really did. Thought that I was going crazy, and so I just did what I just knew to do, to keep moving forward. I actually had to pick somebody up from work right then and there. It was getting around that time, so I went to go pick this person up from work, and as I'm calling her, and so she has a coworker that worked with her. So her coworker picks up the phone, and I told you my voice sounds like rushing water and a lion at the same time. She heard my voice. I said hello. She screamed on the phone. Ah. She said, "Eric, is that you?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "What happened to your voice?" I said, "It's a long story, but I still really don't know what's going on. May I speak to such and such?" So she put such and such on the phone, and she heard my voice, and she kind of like gave me a nervous response, like, "Okay, yeah, I get off at, I think it was like 3. Get off at like 3, and okay, I'll see you, So she was nervous. I was nervous. I didn't know, what to expect. And like this vibration, this cool flame, my vision, the light that I was seeing, my voice, the strength that I was feeling, also the all, like, it's like an all-knowingness of everything. It's like I already knew everything. Like that's the only way I can describe it. It's like it was nothing I didn't know. It is nothing that I could not understand at this point in time. I was experiencing such a level of like consciousness, awareness, that it just felt like easy to live. I felt almost on autopilot in the sense that like I didn't need necessarily do anything but just exist and just go throughout my day. So I'm driving from Clinton. The place I had to pick her up from was Pearl, Mississippi. So you got to go across the bridge to get to Pearl, over the Pearl River. If you know the layout of Jackson, Clinton, and Pearl. So I'm over the bridge. And as I'm driving over the bridge, I can see my heart spinning, but it's this white light that comes out of my heart, like this white greenish light, pushes like all the cars and the souls in the cars in front of me into a straight line. So all the cars in front of me are driving, but they're not coming across a certain barrier in front of me, and it also does the same thing behind me, so they're like in a line. I am literally on the bridge by myself in the middle of the bridge, and then I see, like I said, this light extending out my vision, and all of a sudden I look up to my right and I see angels dancing and singing in the sky over the bridge. And then I immediately thought to myself, dang, I want to be able to sing like those angels. And then I hear claps from my ancestors, like in my ears, audibly, like if I was in like a stage or something like that. And I heard what I knew was my grandmother's voice. My mom's mom, she passed away when I was like 1 year old. I never really just, met the woman, but I knew exactly who she was when I heard her voice. So, yeah, she said, "Well done." All my ancestors were clapping like, "Well done," like you did it or whatever. I didn't know what I did. Just kept doing what I was doing. I was like, thank you, appreciate it. And I see angels up there, they singing and dancing. I'm over the bridge, and now I'm just like come out of that mode, and I'll just keep driving, pick up whoever I'm picking up. When I get there, she's noticing all my mannerisms, my voice. She's like in the corner of the car like this on the passenger side, like, "Are you okay?" Like, I just tell her, I feel like I can break my phone. I'm being kind of cocky with the energy now. I feel like I can break my cell phone, but I know I need it with 2 fingers. I'm just like, I can crush it. I just felt all powerful, all knowing. And everything on earth felt like it was in high definition. So from the time that I leave my house, drop my friend off, go pick her up, and then come home, it's about 45 minutes, and then I get home, and now I'm laughing and dancing and singing with this extremely deep voice, and she's not having the same type of energy. Like, she's not joyful. She's just more so like, I ain't gonna say she's upset, but she doesn't have the same amount of energy. And it started to begin to wear off for about 15 minutes. So this whole experience last for a solid hour, where I am just in this space that was beyond what we know of reality. Because I thought that I was gonna have to go to school. I was in engineering school at the time, and have to explain myself to my professors, my classmates. Thought engineering school was gonna be super easy for me because I just knew everything. But yeah, it only lasted for an hour. But golly, that was enough time to convince me that whatever was happening to me, and I had witnesses, was actually real. But the following days and the following weeks, the following years, I go from living a normal life to a very challenging one. And I think the biggest challenge for me was holding on to that reality that it was real. And like I think that our physical vessels are not necessarily a place of limitation. Like, we can do extraordinary things. Science that we have today doesn't allow us to experience the supernatural as far as it being a reality that can be concrete, as far as being quantifiable and recorded, as far as like not breaking the laws of physics and stuff. So the things that I experienced was breaking the laws of physics. So yeah, that was my experience. Just breaking the laws of physics and being able to see things and experience things that go beyond what's humanly possible. So yeah, I might get into this another episode, but I appreciate you taking your time to watch this video. So yeah, I experienced the veil, I experienced the portal, and just the supernatural itself, in my own spiritual awakening, that's what I would call it. So fire internally, energy, light that is existing on planes above the third dimension, beyond the visible light spectrum. All knowingness, all power, and just extremely joyful vibration that I can't replicate today, but it's a solid memory. And I have flashes of that experiences that guide me on a daily basis. And now it's where I point to I'm existing inside this field of energy that I can experience, but not necessarily see. So it's like I'm being blinded, but guided at the same time. So yeah, I appreciate you all coming out. I could expand on it more, but I like where I'm at right now, and I don't want to go over a certain time limit with this.